Greetings, my amazing A-listers, and welcome to another day with A. Today's video is going to be very different. I am not okay, but that is okay. I am in a state where this is the most vulnerable I'm probably ever gonna be. Well, I don't want to say ever gonna be, but this is the most vulnerable I've been on the internet. I am a type of person where I do not display my sadness on social media, because that is something that I do in private, although I will reference it and talk about it, I guess, in retrospect, if that makes sense. And today's a special day. It's a leap year day. My birthday is next week. I'm going to be turning 28. And I feel like this journey, I have built so much. I have done so much. And I know I come on here and I talk about motivating things and the bigger picture and all these things. And I'll tell you, all of that stuff, I'm really talking to myself. I'm just, relaying it and hoping that someone can resonate with it. And many of you do. But today in particular, and I've been contemplating it, on giving up on Experience A-List, on giving up on my community, and just really going back into hermit mode. So typically, when I start to feel overwhelmed and sad or too much pressure, I shut down. I disappear. I delete. I go incognito. I change my number. Like, I go to the extremes of solitude and escapism. And I've been like that my entire life up until a few years ago, especially when I began my journey of Experience A-List, because I wanted to do things differently and I wanted to show a more realistic approach to life. Because being an escapist, yeah, it may feel easy at the beginning and like cool, but once you really go through life, you realize you can't really escape, because these problems, these issues, they continue to rise back up, and they come back in many forms, if not the same way. And I know for me, I've just never felt safe. And if I cry, I'm just gonna cry. But I've just really never felt safe growing up with my family, with myself, with friends, like with partners. Like, I just never felt safe. But I was just always an optimist in life, and just like, okay, just get over it, or don't show your feelings, or you know what I mean, just hide. Like, escapism, that's where I've been able to cope so much with the things that I used to be traumatized by. And I'm not saying any of this to be like a victim or like cry out for help, because I am saved. Like, I believe in God and my Christ consciousness and all these things, and just myself and my spirit. But I guess I'm just displaying a different part of me actually going through the things that I go through and the things that I think about and the dark nights of my soul. And for some reason, every time it gets around my birthday, I get a bit sad. And I've dealt with overly comparing myself, betrayal, self-betrayal, physical abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse. I've dealt with a lot of sexual trauma, suicide attempts, being put in a psych ward, insecurities, being spiritually attacked, death threats, gun violence, just all types of things. And it's like, people, they look at me and they're just like, oh, you're just so vibrant, you're just so light. And it's just like, nobody knows the work that I put in to be at this high vibration. And I'm not a perfect person, but I know my kindness has been taken for weakness, because I want to believe and trust people. and trust myself that I'm making the right decisions. And sometimes it's hard because it's just like, I don't know if that's just the Pisces in me, just being delusional. It's just so loving and caring. But I just don't believe in living a hard life. Like, I've watched my mother struggle. My father abandoned me and all my siblings, deny us, lie. And I've just always been like, okay, believe in it, or it'll be okay, or they didn't mean it. And not realizing that I was really hurting on the inside and just trying to deny it and just trying to look at the bigger picture and be so forgiving. But it really crushed me, especially when you can cry out to people that you love, especially your parents. You tell them that things are hurting you. You're realizing that they're going through their own pains and their own traumas. And you just there in your own world. I used to live a double life. I really used to live a double life. Only a few people knew, but a real life, double life type of thing. One way at home, a different person in the world. I mean, a lot of people do it, but I used to be an extremist to it. And that was my other side of me, my other life form. That was just the only way that I could escape. And I feel like that is the reason why I fell into, I guess, that victimhood of being taken advantage of not being who I am, who I really am, and feeling confident because I'm always comparing myself and trying to fit in and just excusing people's toxic behaviors and not looking at myself in a loving way and feeling bad and taking on other people's burdens and just mirroring that to other people maybe who didn't deserve it either. Just it's like hurt people and just being sneaky, lying to get my way in certain situations and all of those things, and crying myself to sleep at night, praying to God for him to just take me, like just all types of things, and then even trying to take my own life and it not working. And I don't know, it's a lot, and I just be feeling like giving up. I had a meditation circle coming up. I postponed it because I just didn't feel, we're not always going to feel okay. We're not always going to feel like we're going to have the right answers or the right things to say. And me, I'm just a perfectionist in my mind and my lifestyle, how I look at things. And shutting down has always felt easier to me. I mean, over the past few years, it hasn't, because I came to a realization of myself and looked at my darkness and looked at my weaknesses and looked at my own toxic behaviors and how I handle things and being passive aggressive. And I pray that anybody out there who's going through anything, whether you're crying right now, whether you're just listening in, whatever you may be doing, whatever you may be going through, and I'm saying this to myself, brighter days will come. No pun intended. This spot that I'm in exactly is where I started my healing journey, where I began to really dive deep in myself, where I felt God again, where I felt love again, where I felt safe, where I felt nurtured. And the sun gives me energy. It gives me light. It gives me love. It helps me see through my darkness. And just knowing that even through the rainy and cloudy days, that the sun will always shine through. The sun is always shining, whether or not a cloud is there or not. It's still there. It's still going to be there. And that's just to show that our light never dies. It just gets shaded and cloudy sometimes, and that's okay. We need the rain to grow flowers. It's almost springtime. But give yourself grace. Don't push yourself too much. I'm not going to push myself too much. I'm not going to overdo it. And sometimes in order for things to get right, they have to go wrong. And so that's where I am with it. And I'm just going to sign off now. I love you all. I thank you all. And you're anything amazing and always ascending, because at Experience A-List, we make it happen. We don't make excuses. Ciao.